Hello everyone, welcome to the beginning of playoffs and the end of the regular season. Pretty good season. Unfortunately, a lot of people kind of got screwed at the end. Herm, but most importantly Ashton, which I feel sorry for because I really hope that our division would have had two players going into the playoffs, but alas, that wasn't going to happen. What happened with him, I think he had like pretty much like a 2-5 record at the end of the season to kind of give it all up. I think he was 5-4 at one time actually, and he unfortunately just something just happened all wrong against his team. So fortunately he's out. So the playoff picture right now is at number 6 is Ashwin, 5 is Lion, 4 is John, 3 is Paul, 2 is Elias, and 1 is K-Shit. Both Elias and K-Shit have the week off and can chill and hopefully have their team rested by that week, which one of them will severely need it. So let's go into the actual games of this week. I'm not going to go over all of the Consolidation Bracket games. We'll go into that in a little bit. But for right now, we're going to talk about John and Lion's game. And this is a rematch. They were actually divisional rivals. And John won both games in Week 3 and Week 4 by a almost combined total of 100 points. He won by like 50-something in one and like 45 in the other. But right now, it looks like Lion is favored by 38.7 points. And this is just purely because his team obviously looks a little bit better, but not only that, it looks like John has not put in Richardson or Breeze. I'm going to call this a win for Lion, and we'll see how this turns out. But the conundrum is pretty much, well, Cam Newton's doing well, Doug Martins is doing fine, he didn't have a good week last week, but essentially the big concern is Andrew Luck or Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees has been terrible the past 2 weeks. Will John actually play him and bank on the fact that he will have a monster game against the Giants? We'll see if that's going to be done. I think I would do that, but again, I'm not in the playoffs, and I fucked up in the last few weeks. The other issue on his end is the fact that Richardson, who has had a nagging knee and ankle injury for the entire year, will he actually put him back in and replace Daniel Thomas? If that's the case, then this is a toss-up. If he keeps the way he is, then I'm going to call it clearly for Lion to win this game. The other game of the week is Paul versus Ashwin, which I think is a pretty interesting game. Back in Week 11, Ashwin defeated Paul by about 35 points. And this was following the trade that Ashwin did against me, and he picked up Eric Decker and Marshawn Lynch. Now, right now, Ashwin's being favored by 20 points. That makes sense to me. Major issue is that MJD is out, but he's doubtful, but it's very questionable. If he is not playing this week, then I can say this is easily a wrap for Ashwin. The only things I'm kind of concerned about on Ashwin's side is that Tom Brady and Stephen Ridley, his running back and quarterback, are playing against the Houston Texans, who either excel really well in one area or excel in the other. So both of those guys are going to be clearly winning, and Eric Decker has sucked balls since McGahee got hurt for the season, and more people have been focused on him in coverage. This has opened it up for the tight ends, but for Eric Decker, he just hasn't been producing at all the past 4 or 5 weeks. Let's see if that's going to be an issue this week. The good thing about Ashwin's team is he has Greg Jennings finally coming back off of injury, and that should really help him out. That being said, I think there's way too much firepower for Paul to handle, and I'm calling this an Ashwin win. Now going to the power rankings, and this is pretty interesting. I'm only going to do the top 6 just so people can feel it out. At number 6, I have Elias. McFadden may be coming back, but with no other running backs behind him, and the fact that Matt Ryan is going to be playing the Giants 2 weeks from now in your first playoff matchup doesn't really bode well for you. Also, when you notice that Arian Foster has significantly got his carries dropped over the past 2 weeks, he's been having on average about 10 carries less. That doesn't bode well for you, and if you do pass this first playoff round for you, you're going to be playing the next round with probably Arian Foster out or kind of sitting for the majority of that game. They're trying to keep him fresh. You have a couple of players that are kind of hurt or the majority of your players are actually hurt on your bench, and Percy Halverson is also out for the season as it was determined today. That doesn't do well for you, man, so I'm keeping you at 6. At number 5, I have Paul, and this is because I think you're going to get out this week, no offense, and the fact that you don't have MJG pretty much is making you run out of luck. But I'm going to say that All Day Peterson has been beastly, and if you can continue to do that, then it's anyone's game. At number 4, I am calling John, and this is only because he has a quarterback conundrum in the fact that Luck and Drew Brees has been doing pretty well, or they give you consistent points, at least above 18. Martellus Bennett is finally getting the ball a little bit more. And you have Green Ellis playing, but Richardson not. If you are playing him, I think you could actually move up in this ranking. But for right now, you just don't pay attention to your roster. So if you actually start doing that, maybe you can get further in. At number 3, I have Ashwin. The only glaring weakness that I saw on your team a long time ago was your running back position. But now that you have Marshawn Lynch, you're welcome, you should be pretty okay. The only other area I had a concern of on your team is your flex position. But if Greg Jennings is coming back from injury and is doing well, then you could be very primed for playoffs. This only depends on whether or not there's going to be someone else hurt on your team. If there's another person hurt on your team, I think your chances are completely wiped out. At number 2, I have K-Shit, because fuck Colin Kaepernick, fuck Cecil Shorts, fuck your fucking defenses, and the fact that Amendola is probably going to come back by the time you start playing, you'll have probably a good team. You're picking up bullshit players out of nowhere who are doing well. That really pisses me the fuck off, but what can I do? I'm feeling that if Chad Henne is going to continue being that player, then you'll be okay for the rest of the year. But you're not your number 1, and the number 1 is, no surprise here, Lion Anderson, jizzing on himself right now. Like always, everywhere and anywhere, especially in public. He's consistently wrecked people's shit over the past few weeks and had a very good last 5 games in order to go into the playoffs. Cam Newton is finally playing like Cam Newton of last year when he was Superman, and now it's just a moniker. Doug Martin is going to be playing against non-contenders the entire rest of the season, and that should help him and his team. And honestly, when I'm looking at this entire team, none of his players are really going to be resting by the end of the season, which is going to bode well for him in Week 16 if he gets there. And lastly, obviously, he really blew out everyone in the water when it came to most points made during the year. I think he was by about 100 past everyone else. His team looks ready to go and should be ready to win. So yeah, those are my rankings. At 6, Elias, 5, Paul, 4, John, 3, Ashwin, 2, K-Shit, 1, Lion. I honestly think if I came down to it, the way that the matchups are, and I'm looking at the playoff seeding, so if Ashwin wins and Lion wins, and this is just all theoretical, Lion will be playing against K-Shit. I would call that for Lion. If Ashwin wins, he'll play against Elias. That's an easy no question. Ashwin would win that, and I've been jinxing Elias this entire year, so he'll probably win that game. But if it's a Lion and Ashwin showdown in the playoffs in Week 16, that'll be an interesting game. Everyone will pretty much be in contention to win, and I think Marshawn Lynch will be able to beast it up. Anyways, last topic of conversation. So now me and all the other subpar players that didn't get into the playoffs are now in the consolidation bracket. Everyone in the playoffs will now be given the option to choose what is the prize or kind of requirement for the losers of all the losers. If you've watched the league, this is the Sacko Bowl. Playoff contenders, y'all can choose what the name can be and what the punishment, what is the fitting punishment. So go ahead and think about that. If you can kind of send it up to me over the next 2 weeks or so, it doesn't really matter because it'll be a surprise by the last game. But essentially, our end, it's not that big of a deal, but whoever loses and loses and loses, well, yeah, they'll suck. Also, congratulations to everyone for not letting Remnick win a single game this year. Let's hope that he continues on his quest to the Sacko Bowl or whatever the playoff contenders will name it. Again, good luck to everyone this week. Herm, you're going to get your ass fucking wrecked. You're fucking... you're gonna suck. I didn't want to say anything very, very mean, at least on YouTube. Good luck, everyone.